Greenland, by far the largest island in the world, rich in natural resources and in an extremely important strategic location. The island has belonged to Denmark for centuries, but that could soon change. The Greenlanders are aware of the importance of their island for the future and have therefore been striving for complete independence ever since. The idea of independence is not a new one, but it is gaining momentum right now. It was only in April of the year 2023 that a draft constitution for independence was made available to lawmakers in Greenland, which had been worked on for several decades. So how likely is it that Greenland will soon become an independent state, and could the country even survive on its own? We look at all these questions in today's video. Danish claims to the island date back to the year 980, when the first Viking tribes colonized Greenland. Contact with them broke off for several centuries, but with the rediscovery by the Danish-Norwegian missionary Hans Egede in the year 1721, Denmark also renewed its claim to the island. In the year 1814, Norway and Denmark, who had previously formed a joint union, separated, and Denmark was officially granted full sovereignty over Greenland in the Treaty of Kiel. It is important to note that Greenland was not considered a colony, but actually became the personal property of the Danish government. Even then, some islanders protested and demanded independence from Denmark. However, this was to be a long time coming. Nevertheless, the island was indeed independent for a short time during the Second World War. Between the years 1940 and 1945, when Denmark was occupied by the Nazis, Greenland was able to achieve de facto independence and allowed the USA to set up bases for its own security against the Germans. However, after the end of the war, the pre-war situation was restored and Greenland once again became part of Denmark. In the meantime, however, it was given more say, for example seats in the Danish parliament and the title of County of Greenland. But this was just a drop in the ocean. In fact, the Greenlanders were striving for significantly more freedom, and the first calls for secession were heard. The Danish government was therefore forced to grant the islands extensive autonomy from the 1970s onwards. Denmark retained control over important areas such as foreign relations, defense, monetary affairs and the legal system, but was granted extensive autonomy in all other areas. Even if this satisfied some Greenlanders in the short term, further demands soon flared up. And so the legal system and important aspects of foreign policy soon fell into the hands of the Greenlanders. Greenlandic was also reintroduced as an official language. However, the greatest progress was made in the year 2009. A self-government law was passed in the Danish parliament that allowed Greenland to declare itself independent at any time, as long as this was decided in a democratic referendum. This naturally sparked heated debates in Greenland about when to declare independence. On the one hand, there was the faction for whom complete independence could not come soon enough. On the other hand, however, many warned against a hasty reaction. The country was too dependent on the annual support payments from Copenhagen. And its own economy was not yet diversified enough. The first group initially saw the year 2021, the 300th anniversary of the rediscovery of Greenland, as a suitable time for secession, but the second group seemed to prevail, not wanting to rush things and aiming for slow independence. It is quite obvious that the Greenlanders wanted to become independent. In various surveys, 2/3 of the population regularly vote in favor of independence. And so, in parallel, a separate constitution has been in the works for many decades, and a first draft has now been made available to Greenland's legislators. Many politicians have commented on the proposal and described it as an important step towards the creation of a sovereign Greenlandic state. Some are talking about independence in a decade at the latest. However, time is actually playing in Greenland's favor. The advancing climate change is opening up the island's invaluable potential. Even if the melting of the ice is an ecological disaster, it represents a real economic boon for the island. Currently, 2/3 of Greenland's budget comes from subsidies from Denmark. But this could soon change and the island could experience an economic boom. The island offers almost infinite raw material deposits, and numerous oil and gas reserves have been found during drilling. The first licenses have already been awarded to foreign companies. The island is so important that the USA even submitted a purchase offer to Denmark in the year 2019. However, it is clear to the Greenlanders that they want to start a golden future on their own. And by extracting raw materials, they could soon be able to finance their own budget, so that complete independence is really only a matter of time.